Hi, my name's Kevin. Today I'm going to be answering some questions about the Medically Supervised Injection Centre. So if you hear me refer to as MSIC, that's what I mean. I mean the Medically Supervised Injection Centre. I've been given a handful of questions to answer. So without any further ado, we'll get straight into it. Okay, the first question. What was it like in King's Cross before the injection centre opened? Well, it was a bit like the Wild West, really. There's a lot of overdoses because people were shooting up in parks, public toilets, toilets in pubs, stairwells of blocks of flats, just anywhere you could get 5 minutes apiece to actually have an injection. And in those days it was illegal to carry injecting equipment with you, so it was discarded all over the place, and so it was a bit of a mess. There was a lot of disease running rampant because equipment was being shared, and it was just chaos, really. It was just basically chaos. Okay, next question. Oh, that's an interesting one. What first brought you to MSIC? Well, it was a friend, actually. I was a bit wary of this place when it first opened. I thought, how are they giving us a place to inject our drugs? And I thought we'd be under surveillance. I thought there'd be police waiting out the back. And I also had this thing in the back of my head, what's a church doing running a supervised injection centre? But after a few years of it being opened, a friend of mine brought me in, and I went to stage one, actually, where you actually enter the building. You give your name. It doesn't even have to be your real name, it's just any name, and you choose a password of your own. Then I was escorted into stage two, where we are now, actually, and this is where the injections take place under the supervision of nurses. It's clean, it's hygienic, there's new equipment, and there's bins for you to discard your used equipment. And then after that was stage three, which is coffee, tea, discussions with counsellors, make a phone call, use the computer to chase up things on the net, check your emails, so forth. It's almost like a drop-in centre, stage three. But again, you're under the sort of watchful eye without being stared at of a nurse to make sure that you're not in the throes of overdose, because this is a medically supervised injection centre, with the emphasis on medically. No one dies here, no one has died. It's 19 years in the running, so well done. Okay, another question. Oh, what led you to use drugs? Oh, have we got enough time to discuss this? Basically life. I grew up in child welfare institutions and in prisons, and it wasn't a very nice place to be as a young kid, as a young adult. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, I've been diagnosed with depression, I've been diagnosed with a few other things that I don't actually agree with. But I used opiates, which is my drug of choice, as a way of medicating life's issues. And I don't want that to sound like a cop-out. Most of my life I worked a full-time job. I've had some very good jobs, but I had to medicate myself with heroin. I equate it to being like a diabetic that's needing insulin. I needed heroin to get through the day. Besides allowing injecting, what other help does MSIC offer its service users? There's a massive amount of stuff that goes on here. As I said, it's a supervised injection centre, but you're able to access housing, you're able to access basic GP services, you can access dental, podiatrist, anything that's available to basically to anyone in any normal GP clinic can happen here. I've seen dressings get changed, I've seen referrals to for people to have hip replacements and stuff. But another big thing here is it's a gateway to treatment. Even though it's a place to shoot up drugs and take your drugs, it's also a gateway towards treatment, and it's where I started my journey. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've had over 2,000 admissions here through the front door of MSIC, and that's a lot. Okay, looks like our last question. How has the injection centre supported you? Massively. As I said, they helped me get into treatment. I'm still under treatment. It's I won't go into what it is. It's a once a month depot injection. It enables me to have a life. I'm not tied to any clinic for a month. I'm not tied to a dosing line, so I can use my life experiences and life skills per se to work in the area of decriminalisation of personal possession and use of drugs, and to expand the need for treatment facilities, for example, rehabs and detoxes. As I said, MSIC helped me get into treatment, and they've supported me whilst I've been in treatment. They've also helped me expand my life, and when I say that, I mean I've made new friends. I've made friends with people I never thought I'd be talking to ever in my life. People I considered too straight to be talking to, and now they're mates. You know, I have dinner with them. I have the odd beer here and there with them. I've celebrated birthdays with them. I've celebrated Christmas, and it's a whole new life. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope this is helpful. If you want to find out any more information about MSIC, you can Google Uniting MSIC. It's Uniting MSIC.